doing a marvellous job as always. So our next guest is a Merseybeat legend, played the Cavern many times, Hamburg, toured in '66 with the Beatles, went on to sing on Instant Karma with John Lennon. She's an absolute legend. She formed a band with Rod Stewart and Mick Fleetwood, Shotgun Express. So can we give it up for the absolutely fabulous Beryl Marsden?
Hi, everyone.
So an absolute legend of the Liverpool 60s music scene. Welcome, Beryl. Great to see you. Great to meet you at last, because I've never actually met you before.
No, we haven't met before.
No, but it is a pleasure.
Great to be here.
Good. And before we start, I'll just plug it right now. You're back on this stage at 6 o'clock, belting them out, right? Because you still sing.
Yeah. So back here 6 o'clock with my band, so I'm looking forward to that. So I hope you're all going to be here too.
Yeah. I recommend it. Come back at 6 o'clock. So, Beryl, I'm a researcher as well as a writer, and one of the things I've done is go through the Liverpool Echo newspaper classified ads.
Oh, God.
Because that's where all the dates would be advertised. There was Merseybeat paper as well, and that was obviously brilliant. But the Liverpool Echo was up to the minute, and it was on tonight. And the first time I ever saw your name was April 1962, when you sang with the Undertakers at Parr Hall in Warrington.
Yeah.
Was that the very start of it for you, or were there other dates that hadn't even been mentioned?
The very first time I sang with the Undertakers wasn't there. It was in Oral Park Ballroom in Bootle.
Yeah.
And I was there because I wasn't quite 15, so I was there with a couple of my mates.
You weren't quite 15 years old. You were 14.
No, 14.
Then you were up on stage singing with bands at 14.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you just casually say I wasn't quite 15, but I mean, what was a 14-year-old girl doing getting up with bands in these rough places?
It wasn't that rough, honestly, it wasn't. But it drove me friends mad, singing in the schoolyard and stuff like that. So when we started to go and see some bands, we weren't supposed to. And so they really encouraged, they were saying to the Undertakers, "Hey mate, she's driving us mad. Can she please sing a song? Let her sing a song." And how fortunate was I that, the hand came down from the stage and up I got onto the stage. And Brian Jones said, "What do you want to sing?" I said, "Boys." He said, "What key?" I said, "What's that?" "Key for the door." No, I didn't understand what all that was. And then he said, "Okay, we'll do it in the original key, but first take the chewing gum out of your mouth." I went, "Okay." Took it out, stuck it on the mic stand. So that was my first...
Took your chewing gum out.
Took the chewing gum out, straight onto the mic stand. So that was my first, thing.
Really hard, though, if you sung at home with the record, right? The Shirelles record. That's obviously what you knew. But to get up on stage and do it with guys behind you who are making a live noise, and it's all quite different from singing with a record, isn't it?
Oh, it was better.
Yeah?
It was absolutely brilliant, yeah. And especially with the Undertakers, because... you had the saxophone there as well, and these great band.
Great band. So that's Jackie Lomax, who became a good friend of George Harrison's and recorded for Apple. Brian Jones, Chris Huston, was it?
Yes, Chris Huston.
Yeah.
And he moved to America, and Bugs on the drums.
Bugs Pemberton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a band.
Yeah, what a band, yeah. But they never really
Jeff,
made it, did they?
Jeff
Nugent,
Jeff Nugent.
Not forgetting Jeff Nugent, thank you.
Yeah.
Never quite made it, had quite a few records, but never quite had the hits, did they?
I don't really understand why not, to be honest. But obviously, for me, I was so young, and at the time, people were going off to Hamburg, the Star Club, which was I really wanted to go, but I couldn't go, unfortunately, too young. And they went off to Hamburg after a few months after I joined with them. And I remember I was just singing with anyone who'd have me at the time then. Franz Flamingos, Harry Casey, anyone.
Fantastic. Did you try and sing with the Beatles? Did you offer yourself to them?
Well, no. Didn't quite do that. But I obviously went to see them a lot, They were fantastic. Well, my favourite band at the time, to be honest, yeah.
They were your favourites?
Absolute favourite. I think, personally, one of the best live bands ever. really.
Ever.
Ever. And it was obviously the music, but it was the fun, because they were funny as well, and the whole package really, wasn't it? So yeah, they were brilliant.
Yeah, they give people a show, wouldn't they? Not the comedy in between the songs.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good, really great band.
Were you intimidated then? You could have. I mean, you could have said to Paul, "Can I come and sing with you?" You just didn't want to ask. Is that what it was?
I should have done, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I think so.
Because John used to call me Marzi. He might have gone, "Yeah, come on, Marzi."
Marzi.
Marzi, yeah.
Well, that begs the question, because Marsden is not actually your birth name, is it?
No.
Your name is?
Beryl Hogg. But that's not my name either, because that was the name of my mum's first husband. So,
right.
But for some reason, it's on the birth certificate. So
your birth certificate name is Hogg. Why did you choose Marsden as a surname?
Okay. So at the time, I was doing some gigs at the Majestic Ballroom, which is in Birkenhead, which all the bands did. And the manager was called Beryl Marsden. Mm. And Joe Flannery was my manager at the time, just started to be my manager. And he said, "We need to change your name, And if they'd have said Smith, I'd have probably gone, okay, but they suggested Marsden, and I went, yeah, that's good, that's fine. But at the time, I didn't really know that Jerry's second name, I knew him as Jerry, Jerry and the Pacemakers, and I didn't know that was his second name.
Yeah.
So I did get into a bit of trouble about my name later on.
Trouble in the sense of someone thought you were appropriating the name?
No, when people used to say, any relation to Jerry? And I go, yeah, he's me dad. So, and Jerry wasn't too happy about that. So one time he said, "Come here, you." I went, "I'm sorry, I'd never say it again." He said, "You can say I'm your brother, not your dad." So that was the trouble I got.
Yeah, so you gave yourself, took a name that happened to be the name of a guy who's about to have #1 hits, and you assumed, therefore, to be his sister from that point on.
Well,
how annoying.
Yeah, I know, terrible, isn't it? But he's, yes, again, a wonderful person and great talent.
Who, Jerry?
And a great loss, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been on this stage at these events in years gone by. So.
Oh, fab.
Yeah.
Right.
You were small, weren't you? Because you were still only 14 or 15 and very small. The other George Harrison, that's the journalist George Harrison, wrote in the Liverpool Echo that you were 4'8".
No, I'm not.
Was he wrong?
Yeah, I'm 5 foot. It makes a difference, doesn't it?
Well, it does. Maybe you hadn't quite finished growing at 15.
Probably not. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm 4'8" now.
Yeah. And so you are operating at a time of quite a few girl singers, right? Because Helen Shapiro was only like 16. Right. Maybe 17 by the time the Beatles worked with her, but still very, very young. Cilla was very young. You were very young. Did you feel in any sense a kind of competition?
No. Well, because basically I was with the band, and I think I didn't really know Cilla at the time, and Cilla was like 4 years older than me. She's 19 when I was. Is that right? It's Frieda around. So I didn't, obviously, who'd want to hang around with a 14, 15-year-old, definitely not Cilla. And I didn't, when I first started to sing, I didn't know about Helen Shapiro. That was a little bit later on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my main aim was to get to the Star Club Hamburg, no matter what.
You wanted to be in that den of iniquity, that
I've just
place of vice.
Isn't he terrible? No, it was to do with these amazing people that I knew were performing there, just to be able to see them. And I was, yet again, great good fortune with Joe Flannery. He took me down to, when I was 16, I was allowed to go with the chaperone, which was Joe Flannery. So we had to have a special license.
Was Joe Flannery your chaperone?
Yes. Can you imagine? Anyway, so,
No.
yeah, okay. So when you get to Hamburg, you have to be off the streets, out of the clubs. You could go to a club, even the sort of pubs, but you have to be out of home by 10 o'clock at night. So mostly that was the case. Put in a taxi, and we all stayed at the same hotel in Hamburg. And one time when I did a good show, Joe said, "I've got a treat. I'm going to sneak you into this club quite near the Star Club. I said, oh, brilliant, thinking I'm going to see like rock and roll bands and stuff. And it wasn't. It was lots of very beautiful ladies with lots and lots of makeup and wigs and thing. And I loved it. He said, okay, this is a gay club. I said, I can tell. Everyone's really happy and joyful and dancing. And, you know, I didn't know much at that age, to be really honest with you. I pretended I did, but I didn't. So that was my first encounter with wonderful gay culture. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What truth is there to the story of Bob Wooler recommending you to Brian Epstein and potentially him signing you? Is there anything to that story?
Yeah, Bob came with Brian. Brian, lovely, lovely man. Came to another club called the Riverside in Chester, where we used to play. And he came with Brian there to see me sing. I think that was with the Undertakers, if I'm not mistaken. It might not have been. But, but it as I said, my focus was Hamburg. You know, so that's where I wanted to go.
So what, you weren't particularly keen to be signed up by Brian?
Well, I think at that time, I might have just been, you know, going to do that with Joe Flannery.
Right.
So because he'd spoken to the Undertakers while they first went to Germany, he said, would you keep your eye on Beryl while we're away? So obviously, my time before I went to Hamburg was, you know, just hanging around waiting for the Undertakers to come back. Mm. And when they come back, they were all like leathered up, you know, all mature. And I was just still, you know, a little squared. So I didn't suit the image then, you know. Mm. Did you see all those photographs of the Undertakers a bit there, all the black stuff and the, you know. So yeah, I wasn't suited.
What age were you when you left school?
15. Mm. Just 15, yeah.
And where was home? Whereabouts in Liverpool was it?
At that time, it was Wavertree, Picton Road, because I was born in Toxteth, which is, I thought it was a wonderful area. And we moved when I was about 7 to Picton Road, Wavertree. And some of the families still live there now, actually.
So all these places you're playing at night, you have to get the bus and all that, and the last bus home.
Well, I would get picked up and dropped off by the guys mostly, you know. I was really looked after like, you know, they were like my big brothers, really, you know, so, yeah.
Now, being managed by Joe Flannery brought you into contact with Pete Best, didn't it? Because he managed Pete after the Beatles fired him.
Yes.
And he joined Lee Curtis and the All-Stars, managed by Joe.
Yeah.
So what do you recall of Pete in that period after he was fired from the Beatles?
I know there was a little bit of rebellion going on at the Cavern, wasn't there, Frida? About, you know, we want Pete, and all that. I mean, Pete's a wonderful guy and a great drummer, you know. But I think, I suppose Ringo did suit, you know, the Beatles in a way, you know, because Pete was quite shy. Well, he came across as very shy.
Yeah, very quiet.
And then his mum obviously would like to, you know, say things and try and take a bit of control and stuff like that about the Beatles as well. I mean, she told me off. I got told off because I went to see the Beatles on an afternoon session when I was with Lee Curtis and the All-Stars, saying, you know, I'm a terrible person. I shouldn't support the Beatles because, you know, what happened to Pete. But, you know, at least I stood up for myself. And I said, yes, it's a terrible thing, but, you know, I'm still going to go and see my favourite band.
You defied Mona Best.
I did. And I lived to see the day.
And you were only 15. That was brave.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, she was a strong character.
Yes, very strong.
Very strong. Yeah. So you had to see the Beatles. That was the thing. You really did need to see them.
Oh yeah. You know, when I could. Obviously, when I started to gig, it was a little. You know, I didn't see them as much.
Yeah.
But then we sometimes would do, you know, some gigs together, like the Tower Ballroom.
Yeah.
And I was with the Undertakers. I mean, I wasn't billed as Beryl Marsden then. It was just like the Undertakers.
Yes.
So we did a gig there. I think Little Richard was on that one.
Oh yes, of course. The Tower, October '62. Were you there singing that night?
Yeah.
Unbilled.
Unbilled.
Unbilled, yes.
Doesn't matter, does it?
No.
But he was brilliant. Love Little Richard. Absolutely great.
Yeah, I think that was got to be one of the main nights of the Merseybeat history.
Of the Tower Ballroom, it was brilliant,
Yeah, Brian Epstein bringing Little Richard to Liverpool. A fantastic thing.
Amazing time.
Yeah. Did you go to a recording studio and audition and all that kind of thing in your early days?
I think it was, you had to make what was called an acetate, so the record label could hear what your voice sounded like on vinyl, you know. So, I did, I think it was, not Regent Street, it was around that area. Oh, it was quite a famous one where everyone went to make
Regent Sound Studio. You're talking about London, Regent Sound.
That's the one, yeah.
A demo session.
So the demo was on a B-side of a Carole King song, He Is the Boy.
Right.
Yeah. So I did that, and next thing is, I can't sign anything because I'm too young, but Joe had signed a record deal with Decca, Decca Records, yeah, which the Stones were on Decca as well.
Yeah.
And a few people.
I think you predate the Stones signing to Decca. I think so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I know nothing.
Yeah, but it took a while for your first record to come out, something like that. But I think you were signed before the Stones.
Oh. Did you know that?
Yeah, you do now.
I do now, yeah. I know that now, yeah.
It's all in my notes here.
It's, which recording then wasn't one of my favourite things, I have to say. Because, you know, I'm used to being with the Undertakers, used to live bands, and then I get thrown into this environment with like an orchestra and big girls, what they call the Vernon girls, I think they were, some of the Vernon girls.
Yes.
And then you go, right, you're going to do these 2 songs and you've got 4 hours. And you do it all at the same time, you know, you don't stop and fix it, and do you know what I mean? So I didn't enjoy it very much, to be honest.
No.
I love the song, but I didn't enjoy the experience.
Have you heard it recently?
The song?
Yeah, that recording, I mean.
Oh, the actual recording itself? No.
Yeah.
No.
The thing about you're going to make a record, it sounds it's a nerve-wracking thing. You've only got the time that they've set, and whatever you've recorded that day and all the nerves you've got within that performance are set in that vinyl record forever.
Yes, yeah.
So you could hear yourself now at the age of 14 or 15 being nervous and not entirely necessarily happy with it, but there it is. It's your record.
That's the thing, isn't it? You know, I mean, it wasn't horrid. I mean, I suppose the actual singing I enjoyed. Does that make sense? But all the other stuff around it wasn't. You know.
Yeah.
I wished it would have been with the Undertakers. I think that would have been awesome. You know, to have that, or with musicians from Liverpool.
So maybe a live album would be a good environment for you to actually get a stage performance recorded.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I might look at that. I've done a couple of those. I mean, I found on, I think it was, well, my son found it on Spotify, live in Germany recently, and it was a shot of rhythm and blues in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I'd done it. So there we are.
Are you happy with it?
Yes, very good.
Good, okay, that's nice. Bill Harry said that you were offered the Beatles song Love of the Loved before Cilla Black and that you didn't, or some reason why it didn't occur. Is that right? Does that square with your memory?
No. I think John suggested it, thinking it would be a good song for me. But as you know, Brian had signed Cilla, and fair enough, you know, all the songs was you know for her. So yeah, I think there was just a kind of a suggestion about it. It wasn't for me really. No. Okay. But if you saw, you know, there was a Cilla program which is very, very good recently on ITV, and someone came on being me in the second act and singing Love of the Loved. And I'm sitting there going, what? I've never sang it in my life.
No.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that's the one with Sheridan Smith, is it? Yeah.
Isn't that mad?
Yeah.
So
someone plays you in that.
Singing Cilla's song?
Right, very odd.
Did you see that, Frida? Yeah. Okay.
Do you remember a girl called Stevie Holly, Ida Holly?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dear friend,
yeah. She did an interview once, and she said that you and her went down to London with the Foremost when they were doing their first recording session. Do you recall that?
Vaguely remember that. I think we had rollers in. You know, rollers like to be all nice when we got there. And, yeah, because I think because there was a hotel yet again, that people stayed in London.
Yeah.
I know Jimmy, we're not going into this, but Jimmy Savile stayed there. But I found Jimmy a really nice person and very encouraging, to be honest. But that's my meeting with him in the 60s. So yeah, that was a bit mad, really.
Yeah. But the foremost session, were you there? They were cutting Hello Little Girl, and it was their first visit to Abbey Road.
Right.
And yours. But it's just a moment in time, isn't it?
It's a moment in time, and hand on heart, I can't remember.
Yeah. How long did you spend in Hamburg?
Hamburg was off and on for around about a year and a half, coming back and going back. And as I said, I saw some incredible people, So I saw Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, did you?
I saw Ray Charles.
Right.
I saw, what's the guy that always goes down on one leg, all in black? Gene Vincent.
Gene Vincent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gene Vincent.
Or am I? Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. Just some.
Yeah.
And Chuck Berry. We did a gig with Chuck Berry in Berlin.
Right.
The place where Hitler used to do his speeches and stuff.
Rallies. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Wow.
So I had to swap me. I had to give him a dressing room because he didn't think his was big enough.
Right.
So I gave him my dressing room. And I'm a good girl.
Very demanding man, Chuck Berry, wasn't he? Very demanding.
I mean, what a performer. Great songs. But sometimes people, when they get a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm saying no more.
He went around the world thrilling everyone with his music, but disappointing those people who met him in person.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the way it was. But you were around all these people, Ray Charles and all of that. I mean, it must have been extraordinary because you're 15, what were you, 16 maybe 16. By this point?
Yeah.
Girl from Liverpool mixing with all these people in a foreign country, far from home.
I wouldn't say I was mixing. I wasn't supposed to be there because they were all on late. So I was kind of, at the side of the stage by where, the curtains were. And as soon as they finished, I was in a taxi straight back to the hotel.
Oh, yeah, because the authorities were very strict on not having under 18s in the club.
That's right. So I had to stay back there doing that.
Right, yeah.
Still wonderful, though, great.
Yeah. And you sang, is it right that you sang with a band there called The Eyes in Hamburg?
Yeah, who then became Paddy Klaus and Gibson.
Yeah.
Later, yeah.
So that's Klaus Foreman, Paddy Chambers and Gibson Kemp.
Gibson Kemp, yeah. So, because what happened, I didn't do a long time with them, but then when I came back to Liverpool, then I went down to London, and that's where I met Tony Stratton-Smith. And he had Paddy Klaus and Gibson at the time, and they were like resident at the Pickwick Club.
Yeah.
Which was like a journalist come music club down there. So I kind of joined them for a little bit again before, and then Brian Epstein signed them again.
Yeah. Well, the story goes that John Lennon and George Harrison went to see Paddy, Klaus and Gibson because they knew Klaus particularly, but they knew Gibson and Paddy a little bit from Liverpool, but they knew Klaus particularly. And they said to Brian, "You've got to sign them." So then Brian came down and signed them up. At the Pickwick Club, yeah. And that was where they were the night they first had LSD as well. They went to the Pickwick Club to see Paddy, Klaus and Gibson. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. Yeah. I'm really shocked.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's really? Part of the story, part of the legendary story of when they first took acid, was they went to see the Pickwick Club that night, and they might have seen you there that night. Then.
Maybe not. But I know the first time I saw, if we talk about Mick, because he's a dear friend, the first time I met Mick Fleetwood was down the Pickwick Club, and he came with Jenny Boyd, who he was going out with at the time, Patty, George. I'm not sure if John was there, and then I think Brian came down as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So there we are. So he signed the band I'm singing with, so I'm left on my own again. So, but that was fine. That was fine. But it's a shame that they didn't have a hit, because they were a fantastic band.
Yeah, they were
musicians.
They're like a kind of early Cream. They were, good musicians, really playing good earthy songs, and a trio as well, a bit like the Big Three, in fact.
A bit like the Big Three, yeah. But I felt, I think the songs that were chosen for their records just weren't them. Does that make sense? It didn't.
Yeah.
just didn't make sense for them.
Yeah, and Brian bought their contract, didn't he, from Stratton Smith?
Tony Stratton Smith, yeah.
Yeah, and that gave him the money to start Charisma Records, which has actually come up in a prior conversation today.
Yeah,
Judd
I
Lander
heard
was talking
that.
about Charisma as well.
Yeah.
Is that how you got onto the Beatles tour? Because when the Beatles last toured the UK, you were on the bill, weren't you? How did that all come about?
So, yeah, that was December 1965. So it's 60 years this year was the last time the Beatles toured in this country.
Oh, wow.
And that was with Stevie Aldo, myself and Steve Aldo, who was part of the Harry Casey and the crew gang that, I was working with.
Yeah.
And so Steve's story is, the Beatles wanted me because I roll a great joint, best joint, so they asked for me to be on the bill. I said, "Are you sure about that, Steve?" He said, "Yeah, I'm sure about that, yeah." So, but it was, we had this, so it was really lovely to be on it. So I think they did ask for some of the people that were on the tour, because the Moody Blues were on the tour as well,
Yeah.
So and for me, because I've been in Germany so long, when I didn't realise what the real Beatlemania was, and that's when I really first saw it. To be honest with you, Martin, it was terrifying, and I didn't understand all these, people, mostly girls, screaming at these wonderful musicians, and not listening to them, and it made me angry actually.
Did it?
I did get very angry, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But what you do, I just think it's sad that they were not able to really hear music of the
Shut
Beatles.
up and listen. Would have felt like saying, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't, though.
They might not have listened to you anyway.
No, they wouldn't have done.
Or heard you, for that
No,
matter.
probably not. No,
Yeah.
no.
So you would be side stage watching the Beatles show from that particular point of view that we never had from the side of the stage.
Well, that's the whole thing, isn't it? You couldn't, even at the side of the stage, it was hard to hear them. And I think you could see they were just getting very frustrated, really frustrated. Especially John was very frustrated,
Yeah.
Because he had a little keyboard at the time as well, and he was just like messing about with his elbow, doing silly things and that,
It's like we see in the Shea Stadium film, which was 4 months before he plays it with his elbow on that as well.
Yeah.
So he was still doing that in December then.
Doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you make of the four Beatles? I guess you wouldn't always be in their company because you're on tour. You're not necessarily in the same space, but you must have hung out with them a bit. Give me your impressions, please, of each one of them.
Each one of them. Well, I think I talked mostly to George on the tour and John a little bit. And they would be sometimes at hang, watching all the guys who were on the tour as well, just, and encouraging and saying nice things. Go ahead, Marsey, give it a bit.
Marsey.
Go on, give it a bit of welly and things like that. And George had knocked once or twice and asked me, have I got an iron?
Right.
Oh yeah, I've got a few of those. Yeah, a few irons now.
Did he iron his own shirts?
Probably not now. I think it's just to have a chat and stuff like that. Didn't really talk to Paul much on that tour though, but I have seen him since, but not a lot, unfortunately. Because obviously people move on, don't they? And doing their own thing and everything.
Doing a tour is like doing a theatre play, isn't it? You're all in each other's orbit for the space of a few days or weeks, it might be. You may be travelling together, maybe hotels together, and then that's it. You split and do other things. You may never cross their path again.
Well, I think we weren't sharing the same, bus and stuff like that.
They weren't on the bus, were they?
No, they weren't on the bus, no.
Were you on a bus? Or the tour bus?
I hope so.
Unless you missed it, that is.
Yeah, we were on the tour bus, yeah.
Yeah.
But, it was a very short tour. It was only, I think it was about 10 days, Frida? Yeah. And it was very, very snowy. It was very, very cold,
Right.
Yeah. And then when we did Liverpool, we did the Empire in Liverpool, and someone stole my top. So if anybody here, it was there at the time, I'd like it back.
Can you describe it?
Yeah, it was my favourite top. I'd had it made. It was red, velvet, high neck, like balloony type sleeves. No, okay, never mind. Okay.
There might have been one just back there. We'll check afterwards. Yeah. And you were doing a soul set, weren't you, at that time? You were quite a lot of soul singing, white soul singer.
Yeah, I got into that a little bit. It was something we did. I was just trying to think what I was singing with Steve Alder at the time. And,
I can tell you what your set was if you like. Do you want to hear what your set was?
Isn't this good? It's good being here, isn't it?
Yeah. You could do a little burst of each one. Who You Gonna Hurt?
Oh, yeah, okay.
That was your hit single at the time.
Yeah.
Right. Breakaway.
Oh, yeah.
Jackie DeShannon song. That was Emma Thomas.
Emma Thomas,
yeah. Music Talk.
Stevie Wonder.
Was that a Stevie Wonder song?
Stevie Wonder song, yeah.
Mockingbird.
Ah, yeah, Charlie and Ernest Fox.
Yeah.
This is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting told what I was doing.
Baby Baby.
Oh, yeah, me and Steve did that.
I think that Steve did that. That's Jimmy Witherspoon's song. And Strong Love. I don't know whose song that was.
Anyone know? Strong Love?
No.
Okay.
No take it. Do you do any of those still?
Breakaway.
Yeah.
That's it. Breakaway.
Breakaway.
I obviously do a 60s set. I'll be doing a 60s set here later. So, yeah, it's one of my favourite 60s songs.
You did an interview with my friend Spencer Lee in 2012 and said that John was very encouraging of you during that tour, but that he was unhappy with all the screaming and everything that they were getting.
Well,
you have that kind of conversation with them.
Yeah, but I mean, can you imagine? It looked, I suppose, maybe some people like it, I don't know. But when you see, pictures from the news or whatever's going on, you can see it must be very, very scary, actually, isn't it? Imagine hordes of people coming towards you and they're screaming at you.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying.
What do they want? We want to play our music, and that's what we love to do. But there's just this mania, wasn't it?
Yes.
And who knows why? But in saying that, I suppose all of it is part of what's happening here today, isn't it? I guess, and Paul still gigs and loves to gig, and now people do and have listened to him for quite a while, haven't they?
Yeah. Ringo still gigs too.
Ringo, yeah.
Yeah.
Good, that, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, when you're 16 or 15 or whatever in the 1960s, you don't imagine that you're going to, grow old, do you? You just imagine you're living in the moment. And then suddenly...
You're telling me I'm old now, Martin.
And then suddenly you got a whole career out of it, and you don't even, you're only in the moment, but suddenly it's going on.
We really didn't imagine it. So I can't... When I look back at my little squirt when I started singing, which is so long ago, I'm 78 now, so how long ago? Mark? 60 something or other. So, but the joy, it's still one of my greatest joys and passions, Otherwise, I just wouldn't do it. So.
Well, that's a fantastic life if you can just sing your way through it. Or did you ever have what we might consider a normal job?
Oh, yeah. When my kids, I had a breakup of a marriage and my kids were little. And so I was a waitress, and I've done bar work, waitress and bar work.
And singing.
I'm a good waitress, guys. Yeah. Singing waitress. No, I didn't do a singing waitress.
As we heard earlier in the introduction, you went on to being part of Shotgun Express, which is this legendary band from the 60s because of the people that were in it.
Yeah.
Please tell us a little bit about that.
So the Shotgun Express was put together by the Gunnells, which was an agency who had like Georgie Fame, Chris Farlow, and Gino Washington. And
Sorry?
Zoot Money and Gino Washington.
Yeah, Rick and John Gunnell. They had the clubs.
They had clubs as well, yeah. So John, the younger one, was our kind of... They saw me, they saw Rod, they saw Peter Bardens, who had a band, who Mick Fleetwood was playing drums with, and just thought putting us together would be a good band. And it was a fab little band, but can you imagine all the... And then Peter Green as well, but Peter, after a couple of months, decided he wanted to play the blues, and I don't know what Rod was doing sometimes, because he used to sing like with his back to the audience sometimes when he was, in a bit of a strop. And then, but when it was good, it was very, very good, if you know what I mean.
When it was bad, it was horrid.
It was horrid. But yeah, what a great band, you know. And quite young, you know, like Mick's a bit younger than me, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, a great band, and they went on to do wondrous things.
This is immediately before Fleetwood Mac, then, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Peterful and Fleetwood Mac, obviously, which was a blues band. That's what he wanted, a really good blues band. And then, obviously, you know, sadly, when Peter wasn't very well, so Mick took over and then found this, yet again, wonderful talent to form the new Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, yeah. So you weren't ever invited to be in Fleetwood Mac? You could...
No. Never. But when Fleetwood Mac first split, I did get a call from Mick, and he was forming a new band. And I did go to a studio where they'd been laying down some tracks. And can you imagine the tracks when people are on drugs and booze? And it was like a song that was about 45 minutes long. And he said, "What do you think of that?" I went, "It's a bit long, isn't it?" You know, he said, "Any ideas of what you might do with it?" And I said, if I really told him, I think he would have been upset. So, but yeah, it was just crazy music, crazy time. So I just knew that wasn't where I could be at that time in my life. You know, so I didn't do it.
You didn't do it. No.
And no regrets.
That's the important thing, isn't it? No.
And Mick's still my mate now, anyway.
You're still a mate of Mick Fleetwood?
Yes. Yeah. He's a lovely man. Yeah.
Good. Is it right that you are on the John Lennon track "Instant Karma"? It is.
Yeah. Instant Karma. Yeah. How cool is that? So
Very.
Yeah. So John was recording an album at the time, I think, with.
You're thinking of Phil Spector.
Phil Spector. Yeah. So and we used to go hang around a speakeasy, which all of us used to do at one point in time. And he sent Billy Preston, who'd done the keyboards, down and said, "I'll tell you who you'll find at the bar, Daphne Beryl, da-da-da-da-da." You know, so the three of us were invited to go and sing on the chorus. And
right.
Which is amazing, yeah. So there you are.
Yeah. We all shine on.
Like the moon and the stars and the sun.
Which is quite a good lyric, really, isn't it?
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Buddhist like me, yeah.
Yeah. Were you a Buddhist, a practicing Buddhist by that point?
No. I started practicing Buddhism in 1978.
78. And you still do?
Still do it, yeah.
Why stop?
Why stop when it works for you, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, we've run out of time.
Oh.
But you are going to be back on stage at 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Belting out some numbers, maybe some of those numbers that you were doing in the 60s.
I'll be doing some. I mean, like one of my favourite songs the Beatles used to do, apart from the wonderful songs they wrote. You know, like "Baby It's You," and I won't be a spoiler, and some other wonderful things.
Ah, great. Okay, so some of the songs they used to do that they didn't write.
Yeah.
Cool. Cheryl's songs and all of that.
Yes, some Cheryl's.
You know, it's still wonderful music, isn't it?
I love it, adore it.
Yeah. Very good.
Timeless and ageless, isn't it? 60s music.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Well, our time is up, though.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Beryl.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Wonderful to meet you.